OMG Science!
Hello, I'm Dr. Dan.
I'm Dr. Ahmed.
And I'm Dr. Garrity.
And in today's episode of OMG Science, we will be talking to you about oxygen and hemoglobin equilibrium in the circulatory system. We're talking about things that don't matter. So today we'll be talking about something that's hopefully of great importance to everybody, and that is survival. Humans can survive up to 4 weeks without food, 1 week without water, and only 6 minutes without oxygen. Obviously, all three of these factors are essential for our survival. However, it is clear that oxygen is the most important. The question remaining is why? Why does our survival depend so heavily on oxygen? And the answer is cellular respiration.
ATP, or adenosine triphosphate, is an energy-storing molecule produced through the process of cellular respiration. ATP consists of a nitrogenous base adenine, a ribose sugar, and a chain of 3 phosphate groups. When the phosphate group at the end of the chain is broken off to form adenosine diphosphate, a large amount of energy is released, which is in turn used to fuel the essential and non-essential processes in the body. These processes include muscle contractions during smiling, push-ups, and even the beating of your heart. But that is only the big picture. ATP energy is also used to fuel essential cellular processes such as active transport, by transporting substances across a membrane from low concentration to high concentration.
So, constant production of ATP through cellular respiration is essential to our survival and well-being. But, what does this have to do with oxygen? What role does oxygen play in ATP production?
Cellular respiration takes place inside the cell. It uses glucose and oxygen to produce ATP, water, and carbon dioxide. Without the presence of oxygen, cellular respiration cannot occur, and sufficient ATP will not be synthesized.
Need for pizza, cells need oxygen to produce ATP. Only instead of pizza delivery, guys, the oxygen deliverer is the protein known as hemoglobin.
Now that we have a better understanding of what hemoglobin is all about, let's look deeper into how it operates. Hemoglobin is composed of 4 amino acid chains, 2 alpha and 2 beta. Each chain contains a heme group with a positive iron ion at the center. The iron ion's positive charge makes it a perfect binding site for oxygen. This means the single hemoglobin can carry up to 4 oxygen molecules at a time. The interesting thing about hemoglobin is a phenomenon that exhibits called allosteric regulation. Every time an oxygen molecule binds to one of the iron sites, the shape of hemoglobin changes to increase its affinity for other oxygen molecules. This means that when oxygen concentration is high, like in the lungs, more oxygen will react with hemoglobin to produce oxyhemoglobin.
We now know how hemoglobin binds to oxygen, which is essential to our survival. But, how does it deliver the oxygen to cells all over the body which need it to produce ATP? To answer that question, we will have to refer back to the pizza delivery method in the following animation.
Thinking back to pizza delivery, the goal is to keep everybody in the city healthy and happy by providing them with a constant supply of pizza. If every pizza delivery guy has to deliver 4 heavy pizzas to different parts of the city by foot, he will quickly get tired and may even fall or get injured, restricting him from delivering the pizza on time. And that would likely leave his customer very, very hungry and upset. The solution to this problem is simple. With a huge pizza delivery bus, the bus could carry a lot of pizza delivery guys and transport them to their target destinations quickly, safely, and effectively. Hemoglobin, however, cannot take a bus to deliver oxygen to cells around the body. Instead, they travel in red blood cells. The average human contains 20 to 30 trillion red blood cells at any single moment. Each red blood cell carries not 1, not 2, but 270 million molecules of hemoglobin.
If you look at the reaction between oxygen and hemoglobin carefully, you will see that it is a reversible reaction. In a forward reaction, hemoglobin binds to 4 oxygen molecules to yield a single oxyhemoglobin. However, in the reverse reaction, oxyhemoglobin dissociates back into hemoglobin and oxygen. In order for oxygen to be used by cells to produce ATP, it must be...
This means that depending on the situation, the reaction can shift to the left or to the right in order to resist changes in oxygen concentration within the circulatory system. One of the factors that can disturb the hemoglobin-oxyhemoglobin system is changes in altitude. To illustrate how the hemoglobin-oxyhemoglobin system counters this change, we will observe a mountain climber climbing Mount Everest as an example.
The mountain climber climbs higher and higher up the mountain and reaches higher altitudes.
With higher altitudes, atmospheric pressure decreases, meaning that the air becomes thinner. Although the percent of oxygen in the atmosphere is the same regardless of altitude, with a decrease in atmospheric pressure, the concentration of oxygen in the air decreases as the climber gets higher and higher. Although oxygen supply becomes more scarce as they climb higher, the hemoglobin-oxygen reaction can shift to resist the decrease of oxygen in the circulatory system. According to Le Chatelier's principle, when the concentration of oxygen decreases in the circulatory system due to a decrease in atmospheric pressure, the oxygen-hemoglobin reaction shifts to the left, converting more oxyhemoglobin into hemoglobin and oxygen gas. Although oxyhemoglobin concentration will then decrease, the shift will help resist the drop of oxygen in the circulatory system, which may even save the climber's life. Although this system may help resist the decrease in oxygen concentration, if the climber gets too high, they will likely suffocate due to lacking oxygen in the atmosphere. Let's say the climber gets to the top of the mountain alive, and now he has to climb all the way back down. What effect will the decrease in altitude have on oxygen concentration, and how will the reaction shift to adjust to this change? Well, if the climber is climbing down the mountain, the altitude will slowly decrease. As the altitude decreases, the atmospheric pressure begins to rise, meaning that the air becomes thicker or more concentrated. With thicker air, oxygen concentration will rise, providing the climber with more oxygen to produce ATP. According to Le Chatelier's principle, when the oxygen concentration in the circulatory system increases, the oxygen-hemoglobin reaction will shift to the right, converting more oxygen and hemoglobin into oxyhemoglobin. Oxyhemoglobin can then travel to different regions in the body. Change in altitude is not the only factor that can affect oxygen concentration within the circulatory system. Other factors such as hyperventilation, holding your breath, and even significant temperature change can also affect oxygen equilibrium. Whenever oxygen concentration rises, the reaction shifts to the right, producing more oxyhemoglobin. Whenever oxygen concentration drops, the reaction shifts to the left, converting more oxyhemoglobin into hemoglobin and oxygen gas. These shifts allow a proper balance of oxygen, hemoglobin, and oxyhemoglobin to be maintained. With oxygen concentration high in the lungs, oxyhemoglobin is produced in the forwards reaction. Oxyhemoglobin travels to muscles where oxygen concentration is low and is converted back to hemoglobin and oxygen gas through the reverse reaction for cellular respiration to occur. Stay tuned on OMG Science for more amazing videos.